everybody. Hopefully you can find it okay. I can see there's two people watching. Say hello. Firstly, just some things I need to mention. My website is currently down, which is like really super annoying. NestJones.com. I am actually in the process of moving it to a different platform, and it's just been a disaster from start to finish. It's very, very frustrating. I'm hoping it'll be up and running soon. But you can find podcast episodes there, although you can find them elsewhere as well, and blogs and other information. So sorry about that if anybody's looking for it. Now, the other thing I have to mention, I'm going to put this link in the chat, is it is literally, oh, 3 weeks. No, yes, 3 weeks, just under 3 weeks to the launch of the book. So you can get on the book awaiting list. I'm just going to put that in here. Hello, Amy. Thank you for saying hello. So there's that. And if you are not sure if your dog has separation anxiety, I made this 40-page PDF, which I think is pretty helpful to go through, and it talks about the context of dogs that may or may not have separation anxiety. Just things like, for example, we understand that there's certain things that dogs do behaviorally, or behaviors they do, body language signs that they do that might indicate that they are feeling anxious or perhaps holding it together. But we have to look at it in context. So just because your dog does X, Y, Z doesn't necessarily mean it has separation anxiety. So we need to delve into the whys. A young teenage dog that tears the house apart when you're not there may not actually have separation anxiety. It could be based in a whole range of other things. For example, it could be based in frustration, boredom, just young, lots of energy, doesn't know where to put it. Maybe they didn't get a walk that day. You've gone out, left them to their own devices, and they've decided to make their own fun. So that is not separation anxiety. However, you might put it under the bracket of separation related behaviors, because yes, you've been separated from them. They've been separated from you, and now they are doing things. So context is really important. And just here's another really super easy example. Yawning can be a stress sign. It can also be a calming signal. So we can see a dog on our cameras, and Danielle did post please go and help Danielle. If anybody's watching this and you're using a camera, I've created a poll in the group. Maybe jump in there and help her out, because she's trying to find a camera to watch her dog when she's not there, and she wants one that tracks. I don't like to recommend cameras. I think they're really super individual. We can talk about cameras though, because I'm also not keen on the ones that you can talk through to your dog. But that's a kind of a story for another day. If anybody wants me to specifically address that, I'm happy to. But what was I saying? So yes, so if anybody can jump in there and help Danielle out on that, you'll see the poll in the group. What else? Website's done. Oh yeah, the context. So I was saying about yawning. So yawning can be a sign of stress, but it can also be a sign of perhaps your dog was asleep, they woke up, or they're tired. So we can't say, look at that thing that dog did, oh, they are stressed necessarily. So it could be that they're not. It could be a multitude of other reasons. And I hope this 40-page PDF addresses that. So if you're interested, have a look at that. It's not going to cost you anything. So now somebody asked to join my Facebook group this week, and if you've joined, most of you will have answered the questions. There's some questions that you should be answering before I actually let you in. Sometimes I ignore them, I must admit, if they haven't answered. However, somebody wrote this: I can see in her eyes that she's afraid when I leave. And that really touched me, because that's a horrible feeling to have, to look at your dog and see fear in their eyes. It breaks my heart to read that. So I'm not sure who wrote that. Hopefully we can help you in some way to get that feeling gone from your dog, because it's not nice. Anyway, let's get on to the questions. So Kirsty, so I've got 3. If you're watching and you've got something you want me to address, please type it in the chat, what do you call it? I'm a bit brain dead today. Yes, just type it in the comments and I'll have a look at it in a sec. Okay, Kirsty says, we've always said a quick goodbye to our dog before one of us leaves. She knows now not to get too excited at the other cues, e.g. putting on shoes, fixing hair. So they are pre-departure cues or leaving cues for anybody that's unsure. She knows when it's a walk cue, coffee finish, particular shoes, the right time. Yeah, they are watching us all the time. They know exactly when it involves them or when they're staying behind. When I'm going out to possibly go to the shops, my dogs just look at me and go, you're gone. We're not coming, are we? And they just kind of, they don't even follow me to the door. They just stand back and just look at me like that. So yes, they know exactly. You put on certain boots, shoes, oh, I'm coming with you. And other ones, oh, I'm not coming with you. So Kirsty says, both of us can't leave because of her separation anxiety, and she's hyper attached to me, particularly because I've always worked from home and my partner goes out to work. Gertrude, what a great name. Is an Italian Spinoni, known for being very attached to their humans. She's 5, so is saying bye to her the right thing? Yeah, I would certainly say goodbye. And if you could get onto my website, you'd be able to see a podcast I wrote about that, about whether you should say goodbye to your dog or not. However, you can also get that on all good listening apps too. I'll write it in the chat for anybody. You can get it on Apple, Spotify, whatever, Amazon, etc. So it's a really easy one. It's the same name as this group, actually. Separation Anxiety in Dogs, Decoded with Ness Jones. And you can set, oh, I don't want to tag myself. Facebook can be quite irritating sometimes. Okay. Yeah, so check that out. And yes, I talk about whether you should say goodbye to your dog or not. Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't like, what I always get concerned about is sneaking out on a dog. I don't think that's helpful. So if, I know some people say, oh, they're fast asleep in the other room, now's our time, let's quick, let's go out the door. But the thing is, if your dog wakes up and realizes you're gone, that's not really great. They could really go into a panic. So we want to avoid that. So yeah, I encourage people to say goodbye. If your dog is asleep, that's great, but we just need to, we don't want to rouse them up and go, hey, wake up. But just a gentle stroke, hey, settle, good dog, and then we can leave. So they're always kind of half aware of us anyway. But yeah, I would like them to know. I have yet to get a man, it has to be a man, I think. But someone's got to put on their best Terminator voice and go, oh, I'll be back. I encourage all men to do that. I mean, if you're a woman and you want to do it, you could do that too. But I think it would be quite amusing. Oh, I'll be back. I say to my dogs, be good, or see you later. I had one client who, because I'm looking for things that make you feel good when you walk out the door and make your dog feel good. Because if you're in a lighthearted mood, that's a good mood to leave your dog because they won't be worried. If you're walking out the door and you're really anxious about what you're going to come back to or how your dog is feeling, or you feel guilty and you just feel bad about leaving them, they're going to pick up on that. And we really, really want to avoid that. So I encourage all my clients to try to be lighthearted when they leave. I had one client say, cheerio, old chap, which I thought was quite funny. But you could say monkeys, bananas, elephants, anything that just makes you smile, makes you feel a little bit more lighthearted. A lot of my clients, so when we do this type of training, there'll be maybe some warm-up steps, some pre-steps with the dog, with the owner, the guardian on the other side of the door, like actually leaving the dog, but they're very short and there might be, depends on the dog, how many and all that sort of stuff. But with the final step, I've often noticed that my clients get very tense, and I get it because you want your dog to succeed. You want your dog to be okay when you walk out the door. And that final step is your it's like crossing the finish line. I guess you want to do that last step well, but it's really obvious when they're doing that last step, and it's obvious to the dog that they're feeling tense. So we have to look at that and go, okay, so how do we make the client, the person, feel more relaxed so that the dog feels more relaxed about them leaving? And it begins before you even step outside the door. It could be just putting on some nice calming music. It could be doing some deep breathing and getting the dog to be next to you and regulating the breathing together, and it's nice and deep and relaxing. It could be a scent, a nice scent, as long as it's not toxic to dogs. You can get some nice candles. Obviously, you're probably not going to want to leave a candle burning while you're not there, but anything that helps you relax, deep breathing, even meditation if you're into that. I often encourage people to do a standing forward fold, which is a yoga position. It's called Uttanasana. And all it is literally folding over and hanging your head down, and it helps the blood go into your head, and it helps you be more calm. And you see that with, people that are in shock. They often tell them you can do it sitting down, but, standing up, sitting down, flopping over, getting the head kind of down to get the blood in there. So that's a good idea too. But yeah, I think saying goodbye is okay. We don't want to make a big fuss. We just want to be calm and lighthearted if we can. And yes, I would do that. So hopefully that answered your question, Kirsty. I'm just going to have a sip of this. The other thing is with hyperattachment, I know you work from home, it makes it really hard, but I would encourage your husband and try to get more people involved in your dog's life. So that means helping the dog bond with other people, so that they're not so attached to you, because that's a harder fix. And it means that your dog struggles even when there's somebody with them, because it's you that they want, and that is difficult for you and also for the dog. So if we can encourage the dog to bond with more people, then that's going to help them be more comfortable when you're not there. So that might be, hubby or whoever does the feeding, the walking, the training, the playing, just steps up a bit more into the dog's life to help with the dog feeling better about being with other people and you not being there. Okay, moving on. Amy, you're here, aren't you? So, let me go. Where are we? Where's your question? Okay. So Amy is moving into a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom cottage. It sounds so nice. I love cottages. In the same community in September. So that's only next month. I'm going to put benches in front of the front window so he can see out. Lots of dogs do like to see out, and it can be really good for them to be able to, see the world go by when you're not there. You're also going to get a doggy door for your backyard. It won't be a big yard, but there are dogs that love in the near backyards that will keep his attention as well. I will also leave him with a friend for the move. That's a good idea. Since he loves it at his house, and then bring him over after movers are gone so he won't experience the move. Yeah, and also, even when you're packing, that can be hard. I don't know what it is they know. Even when they have never seen boxes being packed before and they see it for the first time, they just know, don't they, that something's up and it might not be good for them, or there's that not feeling sure about what's happening. And dogs love predictability. I mean, they love it. They like to know what comes next. And I think when we start pulling out those boxes, it can be quite challenging for them, for want of a better word. So it looks like you're putting loads of things in place, Amy. And I'm taking the week off to help him adjust. Nice. And then we'll get his same pet sitters. That's nice. Nice cohesion. Keep the consistency with the people until we can get him doing better. I'm hopeful that this will help with his progression, since he won't have a negative experience this time, and he never had it before my last move last year. Okay, he had a bad experience since. I didn't know what to do. Okay, great question. So Amy, I do agree with you that, yeah, he had a bad experience last year with the move, and that's when he developed SA. Yes. Yeah, so I think you're doing all the right things, like helping him get through that problematic part. And I like that you're having that time off to settle him in. And also, I think the most important thing is, as you say, he doesn't have a fear history in this new place. So you've got a blank slate, which is really good. That doesn't mean he's going to be super comfortable straight away, though, but you've got a better way of moving forward than in the old place where he had that bad experience and then he kind of held on to that. But we still need to make sure he's okay. So you have got a week to start. A week may not be long enough, but you are going to find pet sitters in the meantime. So give him a couple of days to settle in and get his bearings and all that sort of thing. And then I would start with some real basic door desensitization. So that just in here in this group, actually, just let me have a look. I think in the files there's the actual steps of the door desensitization, like it's a PDF. I've got a new one. Yeah, but I've also got a little $10 course that you could do, but it just gives you all the steps. Because that one's quite old, but I'm not sure if you've done door desensitization before or not, but it is literally very, very precise and very slow and very structured and really boring, and it should be boring. We want him to be bored. So I guess the first thing is to determine what your exit point is. So what is the door that you're going to leave him through? And of course, that is going to depend on your property. In apartments, you've only got one choice often. Houses, you might have more than one. Cottage, don't know. Is it through the garage or is it out the front door? So whatever door you're going to use is what you want to use for the door desensitization. And it is literally you're sitting down, relaxed, and then you might stand up and you might sit down and you might repeat that 10 times till your dog is like, what the hell is she doing? She's an idiot. That's what we want. And then you might stand up and you might walk towards that door, but you might not get all the way there, and you might come back and you might sit down and you might repeat that 10 times. This is going to depend on the dog, how much you have to do, but it's worthwhile doing the full thing at least once when you get there, just to help your dog. What's your dog called, Amy? Just to help your dog get what we want is your dog not to have any value in your exit point. You walk towards your exit point, your dog should be like, oh yeah, whatever. And so this is very structured. It's very step by step. You might repeat say walk towards the door, but not all the way, come back, sit down, repeat 10 times. Get up, walk towards the door, but not quite, getting closer. Vinny, okay, cool. Walk towards the door, but not all the way again, but a bit closer, come back, repeat 10 times. And you're doing it, you don't want to rush this. So you are slow and measured and relaxed. So I have seen people kind of, and of course that's going to hype the dog up, which is completely the opposite of what we want. And then you're going to get to the door, and then you might touch the door, or you might do the handle so it makes a noise. You're going to repeat that 10 times. And you are literally going back to your chair, sitting down, standing up, going to the door, and very relaxed. As I said, don't rush, don't jiggle, hover, and, you just want to be nice and calm and relaxed. Then you will maybe open the door, but stay inside and repeat that 10 times. And I mean, when I say repeat 10 times, open the door, close it, back to your chair, sit down, stand up, back to the door, open it, shut it. Like I said, it's very structured, very, very boring. And then eventually you want to step outside for 1 second and come back. Now, once you've got your 1 second, obviously you're not moving away from the door because you're really close to it because it's 1 second. But then you want to go 5 seconds, and then 10 seconds, and then 20 seconds, and then 30 seconds. And so you're literally just gradually increasing the time. Now, by the time you get to that point, how old is Vinny too? Sorry. By the time you get to that point, your dog should be rolling their eyes, going, oh, she's doing that thing. I'm so bored. And I've had countless clients say, oh, this isn't going to work. My dog's, every time I walk to the door, they're too vigilant and they're just staring and, they're following me to the door and da, 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 da. But if you do it often enough, and if you do it the right way, then your dog will get really, really bored with that. 4.5. Okay, so he's not a young dog, which is good. Puppies are going to be more invested in where you are, etc. Yeah, 4.5 years. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. But yeah, so basically the object is to get your dog just really, really, really bored with your exit point. And then we just gradually increase the time. And I'm not sure how long this is going to take you. It depends on your dog, but we just want to do it in a really structured manner. We never let them go over threshold. I'm hoping you have a camera on them. And then there will be dogs that follow, so it depends on the dog. If you feel like if a dog followed me, you got two options. Just let them follow, and I think they'll get super, super bored if you do it enough, and they'll just go, I can't be bothered and lie down. Or you could, if they've got a on your bed, on your place command, or on your mat command, you could ask them to stay there while you do the exercises. So up to you. But that's where I would start, Amy. And we just really, really want Vinny to be going, this is so boring. I don't care. Yeah, that's the exit point. I don't care. You have other options too, and it depends on your setup. I mean, there's so many. This is why when I talk to people about this stuff, I can, and with the book, you know, it's generalized, it's not tailored to people specifically. But say for example, you had two doors. An option might be this door I use to leave you, this door I use when you come with me. But if you want to make it clearer to them and you've only got one door, you could say, when you come with me, you've got your harness on or your collar on. When you don't have them on, you're staying here. Or you could do your cue of, you know, I'll be back, or cheerio, old chap, or whatever it is, you know, when I say this, you're staying. When I don't say it, you're coming. Just really clear information for your dog. And obviously we don't want them to ever have any bad experiences. So even when you do put out a, what's the right word? You know, give them that information, to say something, put something on them or whatever, they understand when they're staying, that it's still going to be a safe absence, that they shouldn't be scared or worried. Does that answer your question, Amy? I hope so. I think, like I said, you've got a clean slate, and now you can start fresh and hopefully get on top of this, because it always bothers me when a dog was fine previously, and then, I mean, it's bad when any dog's got separation anxiety, but when they were fine and then something bad happens and they can't cope, I'm always seeking to get them back to where they were. And hopefully that's going to happen for you too. I always make him stay when I go get things from the car, etc., and does good. Yeah, cool. So when you move, I would do a lot more of, yeah, in, out, in, out. I would just do the draw desensitization. Just start with that. I wouldn't be doing any absences until well after a week. You just want him really, really settled in. And don't forget the 3-3-3 rule. I think it applies to moving as well. So they say it takes 3 days to it's for rescues. It's kind of a yardstick for rescues. It's a big generalization, but it is kind of helpful up to a point. So 3 days to kind of get their bearings, 3 weeks to get used to the routine, and then 3 months to really feel at home. I mean, when I moved here into this property, my dogs were uncomfortable for a good 4 weeks, I'd say, just because it's a whole new place and they weren't sure, and you know, just a bit weird for them. Is this our new home now? You know, and it does take a while, because we can't say to them, hey guys, we live here now. We just have to help them learn as quickly as we can. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay, Ginny is a 4-year-old. Oh, Ginny's not a 4-year-old spayed border collie. Her dog, Ginny writes this, her dog Harley is a 4-year-old spayed female border collie. Recently exhibited a newish behavior revolved around her husband. I'm not sure if you would classify this as separation anxiety, but here's the scenario. We often sit on our small deck attached to the house. Harley loves to watch the movement of the ocean water. Oh, you watch the ocean. I wish I lived near the ocean. I'm sorry, I'm jealous. While quietly lying down with her nose under the glass so she can smell nice. However, if my husband gets up and goes into the house for something, Harley immediately goes into barking, spinning episode looking upwards and unaware of her surroundings. Wow, that sounds really interesting. She will not stop on her own, but my husband can get her settled eventually. She is not being left alone as I am still on the deck with her. Even if there's another person on the deck, she will have the episode. She does not do the same thing when I leave and go into the house. There is no problem if we go out for the evening. She happily goes to the crate and sleeps while we're gone. Are you here, Jenny? Because I have a couple of questions for you. Are you watching this at all, perhaps? Just answer yes if you are, because my question is, A, have you had a vet check? If it's a new behavior, I mean, questions around this would be, how long have you lived in the house? How long has this behavior been going on? Was anything sparking it? I wouldn't necessarily, you could put it under separation distress or separation related behaviors. I wouldn't necessarily call it separation anxiety in the context of that, but yeah, it does seem rather odd behavior. I would certainly be wanting a vet check, but I guess if it's only pertinent to your husband, then we have to ask some questions around that. What is their relationship like? Is Harley closer to hubby or closer to you? Who spends the most time with Harley? Who does what with Harley? Yeah, it's kind of, there's some questions around this I'd be really curious to have answered before I can fully answer it. Yeah, and also, I mean, obviously, what have you done to resolve it? So I guess what you're kind of saying is you have been unable to resolve it. Only your husband can settle her down. Is that what you're saying? She will not stop on her own, but my husband can get her to settle eventually. Can you get her to settle eventually if your husband gets up? I mean, some people would say that it's a case of she wants to keep the pack together. However, she would do it with everybody in that case. What is it with your husband in particular that is causing this? What is their relationship like? Do they have a good relationship, or is it a funny tentative one? Yeah, so it's hard to answer without, are you here, Jenny? I don't think you are. It would be really nice if you were, just to get some more information. Maybe if you're watching this, you could send me another email or put in the group message just to give me some more information. What's the relationship like with the husband? Is your dog closer with him or with you? Would be my first question. Have you had a vet check? Yeah, more information is required to fully answer that, I'm afraid. Just to give a more rounded answer. That could be worthwhile talking to an in-person trainer for that. I'm not sure where you're based, to just basically do some training around it. You could get hubby before he gets up to put her on a place command or something, and do some training around that. You'd have to train the command first, and there's your bed. I want you to stay on it, and I expect you to stay on it when I go inside. But you have to put the time and effort in to do that. Alternatively, can she just go with hubby? Is it an issue if she goes with hubby, just so that behavior stops existing? Or what can you do to stop it, in terms of, can you distract her before he gets up, or can you treat her, or throw a ball for her? I don't know. You said she's a BC, so she probably likes balls. But yeah, I'd be looking to either manage, let her go with hubby, or do some training around stopping the behavior. But yes, more information would be great. But that's me. I am done. Anybody got anything else before I get off here? If anybody's typing, has any questions, suggest you type them out now while I'm wrapping up. Just want to let you guys know again, well, I'm not sure if I've actually mentioned this. My book launch is on the 1st of September in Australian time, so that'll be August the 31st for Americans and for the UK. It will be 10 a.m. my time, so the same time as today, but so whatever time it is wherever you are in the world, if you're watching this, but it will be 10 a.m. my time on the 1st of September. Again, August the 31st for anybody else. I'm going to be doing it on my personal profile, but it will be shared into this group, so you'll be able to find it regardless. I'd love it if people could come to the book launch. It's very exciting. It's only 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away. It's going to be a day earlier, not on a Tuesday for me. I guess it's Monday for other people watching. But yeah, it would be super amazing if you can come and join me. And I'm going to read a chapter from the book, and I'm going to read the dedication, and I'm totally excited. Yeah, so hopefully see you there. But anyway, it looks like nobody's got any more questions. I shall be back next week anyway, if you do. And Jenny, if you can answer some questions, that would be super awesome. Alrighty, I am going to close this down. Have a great week, everybody, and thank you for joining me.